Hey people, what's up? K-Hart here. So today we're going to jump on that J. Cole train and I'm going to cook up a soulful boom bap type beat. So if you're into that sort of thing, if you're vibing, if you're feeling it, if you learn anything, please remember to like, subscribe, and let's get into it. Alright, so I've got my BPM set at 90 for this one, and I'm just going to lay down some really simple chords in G major, and I feel like most of the vibe for this one is going to come from the drums. So let's just start with a really simple bass with some chords and build off of that. So now that we have our chords laid down, I'm going to go ahead and layer those with some different sounds. And since that pad that we first chose is kind of in the lower range, I want to add something that's maybe in the middle and something on the higher ends, probably some strings for the higher frequencies. Okay, so that's sounding really nice. Let's go ahead and just add some EQ here. So that lower pad, I'm going to kind of keep it toward the bottom here. That organ is also kind of going to fill those middle frequencies. And I want to give those higher frequencies to the strings. So now that we have all those sitting nicely together, I have these grouped now. I'm going to add tape mellify, just to give it a little more vintage feel. A little bit of compression from the glue compressor to kind of push them all together. And they're all going to be fed into this same reverb. And I don't want to put the reverb on a send just because I want these to be nice and kind of washed out in the background. Okay, so let's go ahead and make a simple melody to go with these chords. Let's just go ahead and duplicate that so it fits our 8-bar loop we have. Okay, this is sounding really good so far. I think the next thing we need to do is find some vocals. All right, so I found this vocal on Loop Cloud and it's not in the right key, but I think we can make this work. First of all, we need to come down here to the audio file and change it to Complex Pro and warp it. And it's in F minor, which means we need to take it down 1. So it's in E minor. And that is basically the same as G major for our intents and purposes. So let's go ahead and see how this sounds. Whoo! When you find that perfect vocal sample, that's like 99% of the work done. Okay, so I'm going to chop that last phrase off. So I'm just going to click where I want to cut it, hit Control E, and I think I'm going to have this repeat in the same spot as that. So what I want to do is duplicate this one more time, and I'm going to cut this one more time. We'll get rid of this one. And I think this is going to sound really good if we reverse this. And I'm going to put it right here. Let's see. Woo! So I'm going to go ahead, now that I'm happy with these chops, I'm going to go ahead and consolidate it, which basically means I'm going to turn it into one wave file, which is going to make it easier to move it around when we need to. And I just did that by highlighting this whole 8-bar section, which is what I want it to be, and hitting Control J on my keyboard. All right, let's go ahead and add a bass line. I'm going to use this Scarby Rickenbacker bass, really great VST to use for that kind of funky soul type of beat. Okay, so I'm really digging this funky bass line, except it's higher than I normally have my bass. Normally it's in a little bit lower register, but I don't want to, do I want to move it down the octave? No, I don't want to move that down the octave. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a sub bass, just following the root notes of the chords to kind of fill out the rest of the frequency range on that lower end. So this is without it. That sub bass really just gives this a lot more life. It fills out those bottom frequencies and makes it just a lot beefier. All right, let's get this groove going, and we're going to add some drums. So far, so I'm going to go ahead and mix this a little bit, arrange it, and I'll go through the final beat with you guys. Alright, so we started off pretty simple here, just our chords, no drums, a little bit of some vocals, and that ambiance that I mentioned in my last video on how to arrange beats, and if you haven't seen that one, check that out. But here we have our strings building up to nothing, and then the chorus. We have everything going. So I added some open hats and a nice little shaker sample down here. Kind of plays in between the hats. And we're at the verse here. So we just took out those vocals, most of that lead melody. Keep it simple. These drums in general are really simple, but that's all you need for this type of beat. You just need to get the head bobbing. You shouldn't overcomplicate it. And I just have an auto filter, kind of sucking out all of the high-end energy there. Bring it back. Sample just makes this one. And for this verse, actually everything the same except this bass line. I moved it just by like 1 bar, so it's early. Just totally changes the vibe. And then I just cut this and add a little tom fill. That's pretty much the whole beat. Like I said, if you enjoy this type of content, please remember, like, subscribe, very much appreciated, and I'll see you guys in the next